What is going on, everybody? Site Perspectives, GeoFusk. And I've been meaning to do a video on this for quite some time because I have a whole channel called Ask a Millennial that I started with a few of my college buddies back in 2016. And then it branched into music reviews and, whatever. But the whole thing is just called Ask a Millennial because the whole gist was originally about looking at how millennials, like how we live, our culture, the things we've gone through, music style, our generation, but then also having like intergenerational conversations between different generations, right? So Times published this article, and it was basically talking about baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. I consider my grandmother to be a baby boomer. She was born in 1945 though. But so I guess she's like the late silent generation and early baby boomer generation, basically. She's just a year out. And my grandfather was a baby boomer. You feel me? My mother is Gen X and I am Gen Y millennial, right? So we got 40s, 70s, 90s. And I don't have children, thank the Lord. Thank the universe, thank the ancestors, thank science, healthcare, for real. And then also thanking myself because, no. But I realize, some people want children. Some people plan on having kids. Some people dream of having kids, right? To each his own, right? But I don't have kids. Instead, I have, got Mercy here. You stinky boy. You stinky boy. Yeah, it's Mercy. And I have another one, Mickey. Mickey. He's probably asleep. And he's asleep. Say hello, Mickey. You say hello? You say hello? That's Mickey. But I don't have kids, right? So if we're gonna look at it from this standpoint, Mercy's 5.5. Mickey is 3.5. I just adopted Mickey. And he's 3.5. Anyways, I just think that the article that I read basically was discussing how baby boomers have this perception of where millennials and young people in general, because, to baby boomers, they think everybody's a millennial and they think everybody's a kid too. It seems like some of them, I should say, most of them, hell, it could be argued. It seems like, in my opinion, they think we're all kids, you feel me? But I get it, right? Because when you look at the age difference, you're in your late 70s and someone's in their late 20s, that is a kid to you. You're looking at it like, shit, I got 50, you damn near 50 years on you. You know what I mean? So you think about that. But they're also very out of touch with our reality, when you sit down and think about it too. Because they'll sit up and say these things well, the real reason why you young people, you millennials, are having all of these issues financially is because you're living a luxury life. And I want to say this, when I look at what I have, I'm very blessed. I'm very privileged. I'm thankful and grateful. And yet, I recognize that at the same time, I'm thankful for what I have, but I'm not living a luxury lifestyle either. And it just gets me how they think that we are all living a luxury lifestyle. But I guess the same can be said, I have to check my own hypocrisy. How can I think all baby boomers are the same or think the same or are all alike, right? So I gotta check my own hypocrisy. But it's like, damn, they really think because you got Netflix, that's why you can't buy a house. Like, you got an iPhone, that's why you can't pay your student loans back. Like, they really believe that. They think because we have phones, iPhones or Android, the latest Android. First of all, are there some of us out here who need to get their priorities in order? Yes. Are there some of us out here who are really haphazard, just wild and just careless with our money and finances? Yes, this is very true. But this is true in every generation. Keep that in mind. And are there those of us that are literally scraping by, barely making ends meet, going without, making sacrifices, homeless, starving, working 2 and 3 jobs? You got rent that's $2,000-$3,000 a month plus in certain places. You got, from where I'm from, it's mind-boggling seeing places that's $1,000 plus in my area. And I know a lot of people can relate to this because we all remember $500 a month rent. And it wasn't like this was 30, 40, 50 years ago. This was like 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. Like, the shit that's going on now is like insane. Hell, prices skyrocketed between 2020 and 2022. In 2 years, I done seen 250, 350, 500 plus jumps in rent prices in 2 years, 24 months. That's crazy. It's at 104 weeks. Like, that's crazy. That's too much. Like, but yes. If you wasn't buying that PS5, you would be able to buy that house. On the low end, a PS5 is $399 plus tax. Most homes, when you doing a mortgage, you going through a lender, a traditional lender, a bank, a credit union, a wholesale lender, whatever. You going through a lender, typically they want you to put at least 10% down. And that's on an FHA loan. If you're going conventional, it's suggested that you put 20% down. Well, on the short, like I said, on the low end, a PS5 is $399 plus tax. Some of you got to ship it because obviously it's always it's out of stock. So you might have extra fees. Who knows? On the highest end, a PS5 is $1,000 plus. You feel me? But even then, even if you spending, let's say you spent $1,500 on the PS5, because you had shipping and handling, you had taxes, you wanted to buy an extra headset or an extra controller, whatever. Say it's just $1,500. What's 10% of 100,000? Not 5%, but what's 10%? Exactly. So even on the high end at $1,500, that's still way significantly less than putting 10% down on a $100,000 house. And that's if you can get a $100,000 house, because if you haven't noticed, the market is out of control. But that's why you don't have a house. That's why you broke. That's why you live in check to check, because you bought a PS5. Now, me personally, I've been wanting a PS5 for basically the past 2 years, and honestly, I should have pre-ordered it. But I haven't got it. Because number one, I'm not paying $1,000 for a system that's really $399. Number two, I have priorities. I got other shit that I need to be taken care of. But that's just me personally, right? Because I spend my money differently. Everybody spends their money differently. Now, like I said, are there some of us that's just irresponsible, just all over the damn place? Just, you feel me? Yes. But are there some of us that literally are sacrificing, going without, struggling, working 2 and 3 jobs, all these side hustles, sacrificing this and that? Yes. So don't, but yet, once again, for some of the baby boomers, they don't want to look at the fact that cost of living, price gouging, inflation, because that's what the PS5 being $1,000, that's price gouging. Like I said, it's supposed to be $399 on the low end, and that's if you just getting the regular electronic one. So yeah, all that shit is happening. Yeah, gas is $5 plus per gallon. If you want a decent car on the low end, that's brand new, that's brand spanking new, 2022, 2023, like brand spanking new, let's be real, that's probably like $30,000 to $40,000. You got that? You got that sitting around? Oh, most of us don't, because most of us barely are making $30,000 and $40,000 a year. I'm not gonna say most of us, but a nice sizable portion or more is making less than $30,000 to $40,000 a year. So how you gonna buy a $30,000 to $40,000 car? Oh, you're gonna lease it? You're gonna lease it? You're gonna do a car note? You're gonna pay as you go? Okay, that's cool. So how much you putting down? Because you do realize the bigger the amount or percentage that you put down, right, on the car, for example, is going to help reduce the amount you have to pay in that monthly car note, that monthly lease. Another thing, your credit score. How your credit score like? How's your credit score like, for real? Because again, you could have the money and not have a credit score, and they won't approve you. That, or they'll have you get a cosigner. Of course, now they're rushing to approve everybody, despite the fact that the feds have raised interest rates on everything. All of their financial packages and services and shit, the interest rates are up. They've raised them. The feds raised the interest rate. So like I said, you're going to be looking at your student loans, whether they're federal or private. You're going to be looking at, your mortgages, you financing shit. We about to head to a recession. I recommend thinking twice about financing big purchases. This is not the time for that, personally. I mean, because I'm thinking back to 2007 through 2009 during the Great Recession, and I was basically a teenager during that time. So that was basically 9th grade through 11th grade. And that was like the Great Recession. People were losing their homes for getting foreclosures. And people are losing their homes now. People are literally being priced out of places to live. But you think because somebody goes and they get themselves a $10 drink at Starbucks, that $10 is why you can't afford rent. That $10, some of the baby boomers think that $10 is why you going up there getting that damn caramel macchiato is why your ass can't afford the rent. You live into luxury out here. That's what they really think. Some of them really think that. And it's just like, damn, so like $10 was going to help you pay $2,000 a month rent when you barely getting $1,000 every 2 weeks and you still got other bills and responsibilities. And then they just arbitrarily will decide to raise rent. And, you know, what happened to $25 more, $50 more, maybe 75, you feel me? No, it's 100 plus, they going in. And then they're tacking on additional fees. And then, mind you, that's just your rent. Now you got to pay $5 plus for gas per gallon. Oh, damn. Oh, and we got shortages on all things, the goods and services, food, etc. And food prices is going up, right? Because the cost to feed the animals, the food that the animals eat, that the farmers use to feed the animals, that cost has gone up significantly. So pretty soon, you are going to see $20 a pound for chicken. And people are not going to be able to get food. I feel like this is worse than the Great Recession. Personally. And the Great Recession was horrible. All of this shit's been horrible. So just think, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And we just sitting up here like, well, you know, it's really shocking to me, right? Because I'm like, damn, I'm really getting up every day and driving to work. Gas is $5 right now. I seen it for $4.99. The highest I seen it for me was $5.19 a gallon. Right now it's $4.99. I'm hovering a little over half a tank. You know I'm about to fill up again, right? Because you never know. I done got to the point where you did. Try not to let your shit go past a half a tank. Because, You really trying to pay that whole 100 or more? Shit, it might be 85 if you really, you know, if they really giving a little, it's 480 today and shit. Can we go to 420? 420? Can we? No, but seriously. But, it's really bad. But yeah, that's why you can't, you know, you can't get your rent. Now, mind you, when they were growing up, not all of them, right? Because we can't speak for all of them, right? We can't. I gotta check myself. I want to stop generalizing. However, sometimes it do seem like it's more than some. Okay, it's kind of, you know, I'm kind of like, I don't know. But anyway, for some of them, back in the day, like if we going back into the 60s, right? The 60s, the mid 60s, the late 70s, or mid 60s to early 70s. They were shit. People was leaving down south. Okay, like Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri. People was leaving the South and coming into the Midwest because at the time, it was basically the Great Migration. Okay, so a lot of African Americans, black folks, people of color, what have you, as well as just white people, lower income, working class, working poor, they migrated to the Midwest. Okay, and to the Northeast, like, and people went out west. People were leaving, but particularly in the Midwest, like in the Northeast, is number one, if you were black, African American, person of color, segregation is around the entire country, right? Like, if obviously you look at states now, right? State rights. Each state has their own version of abuse and oppression, right? Racism, etc. But like, you would come to the Midwest, to the Northeast, and it wouldn't be as, which is sad because it's pretty effed up here. So the fact that we can consider this not being as bad is kind of wild to me. Kind of lets you know that our standards are way down here, but okay. But anyways, so people was coming up here. Then people will go from like sharecropping, you know, to working at a factory. Now, granted, there were still racism and segregation and just effed up stuff going on, right? That's why I said if that's what we consider not as bad, I don't know, you know. But this happened. And they was coming up here making bank. You had people basically making the equivalent of $30 an hour in the 70s, in the 60s. People was low-key 6 figures equivalent. Like, your foremans and what have you that worked at the factories, they were basically making 6 figures. Back then, when the cost of living was significantly lower. Inflation was significantly lower. You know, some of you have heard the stories from your grandparents, your parents, your great-grandparents. I don't know what generation you are. Put it in what fits in, right, for you. But some of you've heard, back in my day, gas was 25 cents a gallon. Look, my granny was really doing that. Like, when she went to college, it was $9 a credit hour. Say it with me. It was $9 a credit hour. $9 a credit hour. $9 an hour. Meanwhile, by the time I went to U of M, Flint, go blue, by the time I went there, it was $309 a credit hour. And that was for undergrad. By the time I went to graduate school, it was $509. Like, it basically was $200 different. And then, like, I remember when I first started college in 2010, it was $98 a credit hour at Mott Community College. Go Bears. And it was $98 a credit hour. And when my granny, like I said, when she was in the school, going to college in the 60s and what have you, 60s and 70s, shit, because she did, yeah. Damn. It was $9 a credit hour. A person could literally work and pay their way through school. And it wasn't all of this crazy shit. You know, a person could buy a new car for $3,000, a new house for $10,000. Like, people was able to do shit. And like I said, you had people making the equivalent of $30 an hour at the factory. Now just think, if you married, that's 2 incomes coming in, potentially, right? But even back then, you had it to the point where one person could just work and take care of the whole family. Literally, one person, one income. Mind, and now I'm gonna say work. Let me rephrase that, because let me check my bullshit. That's sexist and misogynistic as hell. I should just rephrase it and say one person could go outside of the household and work, while the other person could stay home and work, because they were literally taking care of the household, cooking, cleaning, paying bills, taking care of the children, raising them, all this other shit, making sure you got fed, all this other shit. So they was working at the crib while you was working at home. While they was working at home while you was outside working, right? Clocking in 9 to 5, and they doing it too, though. They doing it at home. But yeah, but there was, like, typically when you work at home, or typically back then, you know, if you're at home, and even now, if you're at home cooking and cleaning, even though that's a fucking job, you're not really paid for it, right? But the other person that's working outside, they're getting paid for their hourly time. So one person could literally make enough income to take care of their whole family. Today, the damn dogs need to have jobs. You know what I mean? Mercy needs to, he's 5.5, and dogs are 7, like they age, every year is 7. So it's like they age 7 times us. So if he's 5.5, and they age 7 times us, Mercy is 35.5 years old. He needs to be working. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard out here. You feel me? And you see how he be lounged out doing him, chilling. You feel me? He need to be working. But anyway, let me stop. But like I said, damn near everybody in the house needs to be working. And then everybody needs to have like a second job, a side hustle, something that's bringing in extra income. You got to have multiple streams of income, because there's no way in hell nowadays you can live off of one unless you are making a substantial amount of money, which as time goes on, you need to basically be making 6 figures or more to live here comfortably or decently. And even then, that's depending on how many kids you got, how many people are in your household, how many dependents, how many people you look out for, how many you care and provide for, and location, right? Because obviously 6 figures is way different here where I'm at versus, hell, Detroit, Ann Arbor, Chicago, and damn sure different in Chicago, damn sure different in California, damn sure different in New York, Chicago, Atlanta, etc. Texas done got wild. Houston, Dallas, which is crazy because my mom went to Texas Southern. And back in the day, like, y'all sitting up talking about y'all paying $2,000 a month to rent. Shit, they was paying like $300. Yeah. So, maybe even less than that. And that was, in the late 80s, early 90s. Shit, and that might even went all the way up into the late 90s. Who knows? But this crazy ass rent, we getting priced out of everything. But apparently it's because you got that ESPN, that Hulu Plus, that Disney, that trio package for $9.99 or $15.99. Hell, it could be $50. I don't care. Because you spending $50, some of the boomers, some of the baby to the damn boom, they think that's why your ass cannot afford to pay your student loans back, bruh. You paying that $50 a month. You paying $100 a month. What you paying? Me, I pay $74 a month for high-speed internet with Xfinity. And because I work, I do a lot of things that require internet, so it's like I can't, not have it. It's a necessity. This is why in my opinion, this is why we need universal broadband, and it needs to be in the countries, in the rural areas, in the inner cities, in the suburbs, and it needs to be worldwide, really. But okay, if we're in the USA, it needs to be across the USA. It amazes me how y'all say "Make America Great Again," but then when it's about making sure that everybody has access to the internet, all of a sudden it's "fuck you." It's really wild because I thought we were trying to make America great again. And clearly, we got different versions of great in America, right? Different visions. But anyways, that's why you can't, pay your student loans back, right? Meanwhile, before I got on the income-driven plan in 2019, I was paying $412 a month to my student loans. And then I got on the income-driven plan, and it got knocked down to like $120 a month. No telling what that shit's gonna be now. Plus, keep in mind, the rates, the interest rates have went up. So like, yeah, they went up. Because I think now, if you're graduate, standard graduate, federal, I think it's like 6.54% now. So they went up significantly. With the highest being the student parent plus loan. But information will be in the description box below. And then that was $120 in 2019, and that's when I was quote unquote making $14 an hour, and then it went to like $14.50. Then I ended up at 16. Damn, I did shit. And it was wild because the first year I made like $26,000, and that was in 2019. And gas was not $5 a gallon. Ain't no way hell. Anyway, and then the following year, 2020, I made $38,000. And I jumped up $12,000 because I was working over. Then I got raises, and then I had the shift premium, but I was still paying $412 a month. And then it finally went, like I said, I got it to $120. Now I make $40. So, but with the price gouging, the cost of living, inflation at 8.5%, everything gone up from gas to shit, utilities, you already know, food, everything. And then, like I said, if you're looking out for family, you got dependents, you got children, you got people you care for. Your money ain't your money. But anyways, that $50 that you're spending, or however, because I spend $74, and I think I pay $6.99 a month for ESPN for my mom, so when she's over, she can watch her games and shit. Ain't that something? Because you probably thought it was me. I used to really like football, but I haven't really been into football like how I used to since 2016. But my mom, that's where I get it from. My granny, my papa, all of them, it's sports, big deal. So she watches that, so I pay for that. And then because I pay for it, she can get it on her phone too. So, you know, so when she's not here, she can still enjoy it. So we got that. So because I'm paying, $81 a month, that's why I can't pay my student loans off. Even though I was paying $412, then I got on an income-driven plan and was paying $120. And I've been doing this since 2014. May of 2014 is when I first made my first payment. Literally after I graduated. Mind you, you could have 6-month grace period, but I was telling myself then, like, I'm gonna get ahead of this. But that's that. But yeah, so there's just this belief that we're just all, wasting our money, blowing it on dumb shit, You're living too luxurious. You're buying clothes all the time. And I'm thinking, like, I have bought more clothes because, like, I changed, like, my job required me to be business, professional, business casual. So obviously I can't come in wearing shit like this. I can't come in with a tank top on and, sweats and my Crocs. I can't do that anymore because I'm a big boy. I'm a big man. And I gotta wear, but I can't do that. So I had to buy new clothes. But even then, I was going, Walmart, baby. Walmart, Target, Old Navy, K&G, and I'm Menards. I know you're gonna look at me crazy, but Menards be having shit in there too. Dollar General, Family Dollar, and of course my favorite, and I've been doing this for years. I mean, shit, I can go all the way back to like 2011, 2010. I've been doing this for a very long time. Thrift shopping. I love thrift shopping. And then I'm also I give away a lot of my clothes that I don't wear anymore. So like, I only buy like enough shirts for the week, and then I'll have a certain shirts. I'll buy a few more random shirts that I can wear outside. But for the most part, if you've noticed, I don't really wear a lot of different clothes because I'm very cheap. That's the best way to put it. And then also, I don't like a lot of clutter. So like, when I look right now in my closet, that annoys the hell out of me. So I'm giving away a lot of my clothes because I don't want a bunch of shit. And then it's hard to keep things in order and clean too when you have a lot of shit. Then it's a lot of money, and then it's just like, no, that's just me, right? Also, I like to have things color coordinated. And when you have a lot of shit, it's going to be harder to keep things in order color coordinated because you have like so many black shirts, so many white shirts, so many orange shirts. You know what I mean? So I don't like that. So I try to keep like, so yeah, I got a lot to give away. I'm weird like that, I guess. So there you go. Dollar General though is no longer really affordable in my opinion because like you used to be able to go in there and for $20 you was coming out with a few bags like dead ass. Now the same shit that you can barely have 5 items and that shit will ring up to $45, $55 and you just like, for milk, dog food, deodorant. Like, it'd be crazy as hell how much shit is. So, but anyways, that's why we're broke. That's why we can't, afford to buy houses, afford to pay our student loans off, afford food, afford rent, afford healthcare, afford the bills, Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that's what some of them think, and and some of them are just very out of touch. Like, they have no clue how things are for us because they haven't lived in our shoes. So, and they don't live in the world. Like, it just seems like they're just not really with us. And I'm being honest, they're really living totally different worlds, like we all are. And that's the problem, is people don't realize that nobody wants to look in to see what the other person is going through. Nobody wants to show any empathy or sympathize with that. So instead, it's, let's blame you for everything. Right? It's your fault that you can't do this. It's your fault you can't do that. As if millennials, and I'm going to go even further, as if Gen X, as if millennials, as if Gen Z, hell, and now Gen Alpha, and it's another generation shit, as if all of our generations since the baby boomers have been the ones making the decisions. First of all, I am 29 and a half, about to be 30, Lord willing, universe willing, ancestors willing, society willing, like shit. I've only been able to vote coming up 12 years. I graduated with my first degree 10 years ago. And I've been voting local and state and federal this entire time because I grew up in a family that was very involved. Like, we all just volunteering, knocking doors, phone banking, you name it. Shit, we just always, that's what we did. And I continue to do that. But it's just to show, like, and then typically when you see who gets elected or who's been in office, they're old enough to be your grandparents and your great-grandparents. Hell, some of them your great-great-grandparents. You think I'm playing? You got people in there that's 80 plus still sitting up controlling the show, but yet somehow it's our fault that gas is $5 something a gallon. It's our fault that inflation is, because they blame us for why we can't do shit, and it's our fault that, we're living in global catastrophe with our climate. Like, we've been the ones making the decisions. What the hell? 20 years ago, I was fucking 10 years old. About to be 10 years old. How the hell was I making decisions on this shit? I'm not the one who told y'all to send jobs elsewhere and outsource every damn thing. And if we really finna go all the way back, I'm not the one that told y'all to go and enslave an entire group of people and steal land. Shit. I'm not the one that told y'all to sit. And you could say the same thing. None of us was there. Okay? We didn't tell y'all to start the war on drugs in the 80s. We didn't tell y'all to sign NAFTA. When NAFTA was signed, I was like 4 years old. Like, again, they be making decisions. They've been making decisions a long ass time. Think about it. Some of y'all moms was kids and they was just then getting elected. So think about it. When my mom, she'll be 52 in June or July next month. Hello? Biden was hanging out, 52 years ago. Hell, when my mom was in high school, in the 80s, Bernie Sanders was out then too. You feel me? Like, so pay attention. Pelosi, McConnell, all of them. Like, you gotta realize, like, these people been around for a very long time. And we just be sitting up like, oh, well, it's your fault. You guys are just not working hard enough, even though a lot of us have 2 and 3 jobs. We keep turning our hobbies into side hustles because we got to make money. If we don't make money, we don't eat. We live in capitalist hell. And this is capitalism, by the way. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this is capital. What are you doing? Oh, I just hope everybody understands that this is capitalism, right? Because everybody always wants to blame everything on socialism and communism and how, look, over there you can't eat. Over there they pricing everybody out. Okay, over here we have shortages that are artificially made into shortages because the corporations and companies and business rather rack up profits. So they price gouge and then they call it inflation. Yeah, that's under capitalism. Here you have corporations buying up entire communities and turning once rental properties into fucking Airbnbs, outpricing everybody. You've got land management, property management companies, and some landlords out here requiring people to make 3 times the rent and all this other shit. But somehow, we the ones that told y'all to deregulate laws and say that corporations are people. Citizens united. Look at it. Information in the description box. We the ones that made all them decisions. We ain't make them damn decisions. Shit. And also I want you to pay attention. Look around the world. If you notice, we got some of the oldest elected officials representing our country. But then you look at everybody else's country and you got people in their damn 40s as the president. Meanwhile, we sitting up, we just seem to, we can't get away from having people that. And my thing is this, it's funny, y'all, baby boomers always want to talk about this, that, and the other, right? And there's always somebody saying, well, that's ageist. But isn't it ageist how we don't allow young people, middle-aged people to be in positions of leadership? Right? Like, everybody has to be a baby boomer to be elected, like. And that's the only, and then they can stay in office for decades. Like, y'all don't see how. But in the meantime, everybody, we have a democracy. No, and this is hilarious, right? Because right now they're saying that what's happening in Russia, that's an oligarchy. What's happening in the USA is an oligarchy as well. Fascism is everywhere. Okay? And oligarchy is everywhere. Shit. Because like I said, if you notice, the same people get elected. Decade after decade after decade. People are dying in office. Okay, let's not forget, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Justice collect. People dying in their positions because, they don't want to step down. They don't want to give other people opportunities. I'm just going to be honest. There's just something going on where something just ain't right. But this video got long. The point is, the reason why we cannot afford to live is because we are living luxurious lifestyles, you guys. When I bought this is like 2017, 2018. I got these in like 2020. These, 2018. My entire outfit is, 4+ years old. But somehow, because we're living luxurious lifestyles. We're living very, very luxurious lifestyles. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm very thankful and grateful, blessed, privileged to have what I have. You know what I mean? I don't take any of this for granted. But at the same time, I also recognize that if we're progressing, shouldn't I have gone farther than my grandparents? Think about what I'm saying here. Ain't it weird? They were able to come from Jim Crow South. Some of them, right? Everybody didn't have the same opportunities. This is very true, and I'm not trying to, okay? But some of them were able to come from Jim Crow South, get here. No, some of them didn't have education, didn't have any work experience, or only had certain work experiences, but were able to build an opportunity of wealth, some, To the point where they were buying houses, starting families, buying cars. People had vacation houses. People going on trips, paying for their kids to go to college out of pocket. But then here we are, because I thought things get better as we go, right? Because you should want more for the future, right? You should want more for your children, more for your grandchildren, more for your... Yet we going backwards. We going out bad. Shit. Because ain't no way in hell we making the power of the dollar when they were our age was strong as hell. And the cost of living was nice. It was easier. Now, granted, there was always poverty, poor, suffering, oppression. That's what's effed up. It's always been around. It's never not been around. It's just that I think now more than ever, more and more people are recognizing that they're oppressed and that they're hurting and that they're suffering. And it's across demographics, social identities. So, but yeah, that's why we broke. That's why we are broke. This has been a long video, and I'm out.